Hey there, fellow collectors. We are a day closer to New York Comic Con, which means another reveal from G.I. Joe Hasbro today, and also another day closer to find out what that icy terrain vehicle they're going to release. Now, the news today is the official render of Big Lob. You know Big Lob from the 1987 G.I. Joe movie. Yeah, you don't remember having an O-ring figure of him back in the day because there wasn't. Maybe there's some other ones that came out later. Maybe there's some things you've had friends make for you. But in all honesty, we did not have that as a kid, which I always thought was really funny that we didn't have that since they made so many other figures of random people. Why did we ever get Big Lob? But we've got Big Lob here. I mean, as a kid, I figured it's because he was so much taller than everybody else. They maybe they didn't have the plastic for it. I mean, I was a stupid kid. Who knew? But this is one thing. I'm looking at this new render of Big Lob, and it actually looks pretty cool. I mean, it's actually better than I thought it was going to be, because watching the cartoon, you're like, how are they going to pull this one off? Now, having seen, all the like NBA figures and stuff they have out there now, I'm like, okay, the builds out there, you can get tall and still look cool kind of stuff, so they can make it. I think they did a pretty nice job here. I mean, what I love about it is he actually has, his bandolier has grenades on it. He has his own little grenade he can hold on to, which is nice. I think that's one of those cool things. Now we have these little clip-on things. It's kind of like when you had Tunnel Rat with his, his little flashlights on his backpack, the tunnel and the flashlight for, Outback. Like, these little things are now being more incorporated, I feel, in the classified line. It's not just, here's the gun and here's the knife and that's it. There's more to it. Now, I do find out he doesn't have a backpack or anything, because that's one of the things you usually have. But, maybe something to put his his machine gun on. But he's got basically a machete, like really long. That's not a knife. This is a knife on there. He's got, looks like a flare gun that comes with it. And I'm just trying to figure out where that's going to go. Maybe there's something on the back. I mean, it's a render, so there could always be more stuff on there. He has a little sidearm there as well. And his machine gun looks pretty cool. Like, that one looks pretty good. You never really saw Big Lob rocking that back in the day. But I think the key thing for me is he actually has, one of his extra hands has a basketball in it, which is, it's funny. I mean, I know not everyone's gonna dig it, because like some people are like, "Hey, we're all about OG-13. We can't be silly." I'm like, dude, did you see Mole Rat Stage 2? Yeah, we've gone full. Let's do silly stuff now, right? And so with the basketball, it's kind of cool. I know how I'll display him is I'll have the basketball in his one hand and his big machine gun in the other. Like, yeah, let's play. I can see that out there. But honestly, Big Lob is very nice. I mean, the thing is, when you have a character that you don't have a O-ring for from back as a kid, your idea is really based on that G.I. Joe movie that was out there. His little comments, his little stuff in there, like, he was a decent character, and they kind of put him together. I think they did very nice. Though, looking at his shoes, I was hoping we get some, like, maybe some Air Force Ones on there or something. I don't know. But, I mean, yeah, they're shoes. But I was kind of hoping for something a little more fun with that, like, maybe some Air Joes. I think that would have been a pretty cool thing to put on there with the whole basketball theme. But honestly, today's render of this looks really, really good. I mean, I'm happy with that. That's not just like, it's not, a one for one for the cartoon, the movie at least, but it still is a pretty nice job. Like, I like that. But let's be honest. The biggest and best of all of the renders we've seen so far, I know some people really like the Lifeline, but let's be honest. The Night Viper that they released a couple days ago, or actually yesterday, that's the one people have been waiting for. This is the one that got pushback. We've been waiting for it. I mean, I didn't collect the Night Viper as a kid because I was way done by the time he came out. However, when I started collecting again, I'm like, dude, I respect on Night Viper's name, because that is a cool figure with his visor coming down. And if you look at the render we have, he's got his backpack and his rifle that we've used to seeing, like, his normal character, and the sidearm that's there. 2 knives, which is cool. So one that looks like one goes in his chest, one goes in the side. I mean, it looks like a pretty good setup. And if you're looking at him, the representation is fantastic from what we had back in the O-ring line. Is it 100% the same? No, of course not. You can't do that. But I think this is a really good update on it. I mean, this is the one. I mean, I think this might be the best of all the renders we've seen so far. I mean, I'm holding on for Iceberg, because Iceberg, I love Iceberg as a kid. Like, I'm hoping we get that. I hope his really long rifle is also in white as well, because that was like the funny thing. He was like, wait, everybody else has got a white, and then the winter guys get the white guns, but I guess it fits for the snow. But it was so funny because it was so big, right? So I'm kind of excited to see that. But so far, looking at this, I mean, he looks pretty cool. I mean, you're going to have it so his visor goes up, because we have other visors as well. The all set up. Now, one thing I do worry about, I look at his legs. If you look at his legs, they look like that the horizontal stripe stuff reminds me of the legs from the His Tank driver. And that, like that one and the helper that was with it, like those things are so chunky. I can't really pose them very well. Like I like the figures, but their posability isn't so good. Now, these look a bit smaller, but again, this is a render, not an actual toy. So that's one thing I do worry about is like, how's this posing going to be? Because this is a great, like this is a great army building figure. I know we got the Ghost Viper come, which is cool and crazy, but it's kind of pricey. But this one, Night Viper, this has got nostalgia factor for people that are a little bit younger than me, but like collectors that like good figures. I mean, this is one I think is going to come off very, very well in general. The only thing I would have liked, maybe had that Cobra emblem a little bit bigger, but overall, if I'm only looking at the front, the render side, yeah, I can't really find anything bad about it except for the legs on there. Now, before that, last week we got Lifeline finally, and I know I did a video on Lifeline earlier, so I'll just talk about a few things. But I did think it was interesting that yet another pacifist has a gun in G.I. Joe. Not just, at least Duke, not to. Doc had a flare gun, but Lifeline, he's got his pistol there. But I do like that his knife also looks pseudo-scalpel-esque, so it kind of fits, I guess. But if you notice, he has the old school Outback and Tunnel Rat flashlight. Like, if you look at it, you have their old flashlight right there. Now, one thing is, like, when I first looked at this Lifeline saying, I say, hey, this is really good with the old school stuff on here. I don't know if he's got a vest on, or if it's just, like, molded his collar on there. But there's something about the helmet that I'm like, something's missing. I just don't know what it is. And there could be, like, oh, we have to put the goggles over the helmet or something. But whatever, it still looks pretty cool. But I do like the accessory it has. It has the the briefcase where he carries his medical equipment, which I assume if you close it up will probably be able to hold the gas mask that he has, or not the gas mask, but like the respirator that's on there and the other respirator there. And then he's got his backpack of the like life-saving equipment on there. And he's got not just one, but 2 sets of goggles and a pair of glasses. And I want to see how it fits when you put the glasses or goggles on and he has the helmet on, because that's one of those things. Some of the figures, when you put the glasses on and then you put the hair on or the hat on, it works great. Other ones, it always gets all funky. So I think that's one thing I kind of worry about there. But overall, pretty good figure. Now, before that we have the most surprising. This one no one ever talked about, the Energon Universe Mole Rats, Stage 2, which I'll be honest, the mole rats themselves, the whole Energon stuff, I haven't really got into. I still have the first mole rat, and I've got some of those stuff there, and I'm like, I respect it because for me, it kind of goes into the kind of Night Force thing. That's my favorite line, obviously my favorite part of the line. So I'm like, I'm cool with getting it, but I did like that it's like, okay, we've gone a little bit farther. Now, I will say though, when I look at the Stage 2 head, that is where the crystals are coming out of his head. I imagine as a kid, this is what I thought would happen if I held my nose and sneezed really hard, that it would blow out my brain. Like, that's what it kind of seems like that's what happened to him. So that is kind of an interesting thing there. Now, he has a lot of the same equipment he had before. I mean, obviously, it's just a repaint, except they threw in a third head, basically. Though the outfit does have that, copperhead meets airtight vibe. So one day, maybe we'll get airtight. Hey, you know what? Maybe we'll get airtight and Flash. But I'm not bitter. I'm just waiting for my Flash. But look at this. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing. Now, as you know, they like to do it in waves, so it's usually waves of 4. But we've got 5 releases plus the iceberg we're waiting to hear. And so the 5th release, the one they first started this off with, the one that's like, dude, spot on. No need to have a retro card of this. Is Hit and Run. I mean, Hit and Run looks great. And that backpack, that duffel bag, it's not backpack, the duffel bag that comes with everything, his stuff goes in there. You can put it in there, so it's a little more dynamic, than just having everything dangling off of him. Though most of the stuff will actually go on him, but a lot of stuff you can actually put in his bag as well, which is super cool. And yes, there is a rope that will go with this, but they don't render the rope. It's kind of like rendering water back in the day in like cartoons, like, Pixar and stuff. Getting water looks weird if you do it fake. So that's why the rose probably looks fake, so they didn't do that. So you have that there. But look at the face paint on this. Like, this is legit how he was. I mean, it is just so cool. I mean, just looking at him, you're like, I remember when they had the 60th anniversary, figure, the airborne kind of guy, and I was like, oh, that's just him or Riptide Core. It's just gonna be a redo of this guy. This is different enough that I'm like, no, it's not just a redo of that. This is actually really cool. Like this, I mean, that figure's awesome, by the way. But like, this is just a really cool figure in general. I mean, and you could army build with him for sure if you're doing your paratroopers, your kind of stuff like that. That works really well. Way better than like buying a lot of airborns, I would say. But yeah, but he looks super cool. I'm definitely gonna get him. I liked Hit and Run as a kid. I actually picked up another one because mine was like you couldn't pose him because his arms would just fall down, so there's nothing else you could do. So I got a newer version that was a little bit tighter recently, but yeah, he looks great. I love the eyes in there. The eyes look kind of disturbing, like they stared into my soul. But yeah, overall, really, really good. But yeah, and I'm not going to talk about Iceberg. So they're probably going to show a render of him on Friday or something, or maybe they'll release another one. I don't know. I thought I saw on Instagram this was like the last, like the Big Lob was the last one before all the announcements come. But just looking at these, I mean, for me, if I'm looking at like my favorite to like least favorite, I would say last place would probably be the Mole Rat Stage 2, just because the Mole Rats were never my thing. That was past my time, and you know, I'm like, maybe a Range Viper that got mutated could be even cooler. Like, they're already kind of mutated, but like, I don't know. I would say that is in 5th place for me. After that, 4th place, but I still like, I think would be Big Lob, because I don't have a lot of connection with them. However, I do think it's a good figure, because it's not like they're down here. It's like, kind of like Mole Rat for me is down here, and then Big Lob is like here, but he's the next one down. And then with Big Lob, right next to Big Lob, because Lifeline is probably going to be with it. So it's like Big Lob, Lifeline. They're kind of like right there together for 3rd and 4th for me, just because you know the figures look good. They look good. I just don't know how I'm going to use them in my displays and my stuff. So that's where they kind of knocks them down a bit. But they're both good figures. I mean, they're definitely a step above Mole Rat Stage 2 for sure. And then we're going to the final two. We've got Hit and Run or the Night Viper. And I'm looking at these two next to each other. Dang. They are both awesome. They are both awesome. Oh. This is definitely one that's going to come down to like an in-hand. Like this I could see how this is like when I did the Snake Eyes Wave 4 review. The version 4 of Snake Eyes, when I saw in the box, it's like, I don't know. And even when I didn't have the weapons on them, I was like, eh. But then once I like got him in my hand and put this on, like, oh, this is a good figure. Like, then I got excited about it. And that's where I'm wondering on this one, because looking at the two, the Hit and Run versus the Night Viper, like, I like the top half of the Night Viper is definitely number one, but I am worried about those legs. I'm worried those legs are going to be a little bit more difficult than I want to pose, especially if it's like, if I want to get sniper shots and try to get the legs right and everything. That's the only thing I'm worried about there, because they're both just so good. Ah. But I think with because the legs, I'm going to go with Night Viper 2 and Hit and Run 1 in this. However, I fully expect if those legs are good on the Night Viper, it's going to be number 1, and then Hit and Run's going to be number 2. So that is my list of the renders, like how I would rank them. Number 1 is Hit and Run. A close second is the Night Viper, and then after that we have, again, a close tie of Big Lob and Lifeline right there. And then 5th place would be the Mole Rat Stage 2. So what do you think the icy terrain vehicle is going to be? Because when I say icy terrain vehicle, I mean, we already have talked about the Arctic Hiss. I think that might be anticlimactic, but who knows with Hasbro what they might do. Could it be the Cobra Wolf, which I would love to see, but I think they're going to come back with something icy. And you know what? After the HasLab stuff this week, I can't take the words they use as a hint, because they give so many hints this summer that didn't make any sense when they actually picked what they picked. So I'm just going to go with the standard Battle Bear, the snowmobile with a retro snow job. That's what I'm calling. Okay, that's what I'm calling. Retro. Oh wait, no. Well, yeah, retro snow job with the Battle Bear, or Whiteout, which is just a repaint of snow job with the Battle Bear. That's what I'm calling. That's what I'm calling right there. Or they could be really, I don't think they do this, put Iceberg with the Battle Bear. I don't think they do that, because I think you have enough people that would buy Iceberg by himself that he'd stand alone and be fine. But what's interesting to me is, remember, there's 4 figures in a wave. And we've got, you know, Big Lob, Night Viper, Lifeline, the Stage 2 Mole Rat, the Hit and Run, and then Iceberg. That's 6. You figure You figure the Mole Rat is going to be a Walmart exclusive or something. I know some people are like, it's not going to be, it's going to be mainline. I'm like, maybe it is, but usually when it's Energon, Night Force stuff, it usually ends up like an exclusive. So I'm going to guess that one's going to be exclusive somewhere. And I look at the other ones, it could be that, you know, we have, I would guess that, like, looking at it, like, Night Viper is going to be in the line. Lifeline, Iceberg, and Hit and Run. Yeah. And then Big Lob might come out. Well, they got, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they go back to 5, or maybe one of them will be an exclusive. I don't know. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out this week on GI Joe. Anyway, knowing is half the battle. I do not know. So I have no connections to anybody in the toy industry. I just have me guessing on these things. Anyway, I wish you all the best. Let me know what you think about these new figures, because honestly, they all look really cool. And I'm really, like, I'm just keep going back and forth with that Hit and Run and that Night Viper. It's all about those legs, baby. It's all about those legs. Anyway, have a great time and keep on toy hunting, everybody. I'm actually in Dallas right now at a conference learning more about how to make better YouTube videos. So hopefully I can learn to make better YouTube videos so you guys all can enjoy our videos a bit more. So if you have any advice on how I can make better toy videos, please put it down in the comments below so I can try to do a better job, because I'm trying. Have a good one. Bye.